Hello friends and welcome. Y'all, it is the last day of June, the very last day. And tomorrow starts Sketchathon with Disney Scrappers. So, this is a group that I'm part of that is not on Facebook. So, it's an old style message board. I love it. In July, it's Sketchathon month. So there is a PDF that is in the group that I have printed. I don't want to spend a whole lot of time kind of showing that PDF because they're sketches. Yeah. So this is what we're getting ready for. This is just going to be a super quick hop on this afternoon video sharing a little bit about how I'm planning for this event. So what I've done is I've printed out the PDF. I have my Ziploc bags that I like to use to keep myself organized with. And I have the PDF. And the PDF is set up this way. Let's do this. So I'm really feeling very proprietary. These are not for sale, but it is a private group. So I don't want to, I don't know. I just don't know how I feel about sharing it. But I wanted to talk about how I'm planning. So one of the things that I really like about the way that Sketchathon is set up is that in the PDF you have there's a sketch a day for the entire month of July plus some bonuses. It really is supposed to be a way to help us kind of churn and burn through what seems to be hundreds upon hundreds of photos that we get from our trips to Disney. And I am no exception to that. And it actually gets worse because I take a good camera. I take my digital SLR, my Canon 80D, and I take my cell phone. And of course, my husband has his cell phone. So to say that I am swimming in photos is an understatement. And they are not always the best photos. So I do have to kind of do a whole lot of digging through them. Not to mention that I also do Disney's Photo Pass for every trip. Part of the reason being is that we are empty nesters. So it's not family anymore. So it's just him and it's just me. He doesn't snap photos like I do. Like he might take a selfie or he might, the hubby might grab a photo of something he's liking. But he's not really one that thinks, like when I stop and say, hey, stop and smile. And I snap a photo. He's not necessarily one that immediately thinks, hey, let me take your picture here too. Which is fine. So I do a lot of prompting. But I also don't always get back the best photos because he's not a photographer. Not that I am either. But I do feel like I have a better idea of what I'm wanting. So I get what I want. So anyway, there's that. So to prep for this, I spent an entire afternoon going through our most recent Disney trip and making sure all of those photos were edited and organized in a way that I could get into them. And then I started with the sketches. And I will say they are really beautiful. They are black and white. They are easy to follow. And they are all designed by Susan Stringfellow. So there's all of that information. But what I like about this PDF is you get the sketch and then you get this area to make notes. Sometimes, and you guys know this like I do, you'll pull a sketch from the internet and when you print it, it's huge or you have to resize it or whatever. I really like this. This planning document and my brain work well together. So what I did for the first 6 days I have done, and then I need to go back through and do, I think I'm going to do them in 6-day increments because that's how the page is made out. So I went through and printed photos to match the sketch. For example, this is where, y'all, I feel conflicted. This first sketch calls for 2 4x6 photos. Okay. So that's what I did. I decided what the page was going to be. For this one, it's going to be just kind of a general Fort Wilderness campground, our camper in our spot with the truck, the property sign, and that's going to be kind of the main thing. And then I pulled So I printed those. They're ready to go. Pulled a couple of embellishments that I know I want to use with this. And then I pulled the papers that I think that will become the kit for this layout. So this layout, I'm using that to hide the front of those. So we'll just slide that over. So then this becomes kit number 1. And this one is ready for me to make and film. Then I went to the second layout. And this one was a single photo layout. And so I pulled, I'm going to use, for this one, I'm going to do this Simply Vintage Essentials from Simple Stories with some white on top of it. I really like the gray against the white. Then I printed some, y'all, I've been doing a whole lot more hybrid and I'm really loving it. I printed some papers from Project Mouse and I made a title from Project Mouse because one of the things in this particular layout was a large title in the bottom corner. And this may be too large, but I'm still getting the scale thing. But that's okay. My daughter suggested, she's in the world of graphic design, suggested that I set up my canvas in Illustrator to be 12 by 12 and then I would know better. And I'm like, yeah, no, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's set up as an 8.5 by 11 or 12 by 12. Scale is not my thing. But then I pulled some papers from this digital collection and printed them just as 8.5 by, well, they're 8 by 8 squares, or 8.5 by 8.5 squares on an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper for me to use for this layout of the Festival of the Arts. So then this is kit number 2 ready to go. And that is how I am preparing for these sketches. Again, I'm doing them in batches of 6 because I can do a single page. So like here are the rest of my photos that I need to pull papers for. And then I think I'm also going to pull some embellishments that I know that I want to use. So I have these turned every other way. So this is layout number 3. The photos, because I set them up in Illustrator, the photos are already to the size I need them. There is no cutting down that I really need to do. I say that. There are some that were meant to be square that I have to cut the white off of. But like in general, they are, if they were meant to be a 3x4, they are already a 3x4. Even if that's 2 of them together on a sheet, they are scaled to what I need them to be. So this is 3, here's 4, there's 5, and then 6 is behind there. So I need to pull papers for these others. I am also trying to use up some of the collections that I have here at the house that I have not been using much of, that are just kind of hanging out. So like this is really gorgeous. This was probably one of my favorite things that they did at Festival of the Arts that I wanted to make sure that I saw, that I had watched the videos and I wanted to make sure I saw. And that was the chalk art walk. So if you've ever been to Epcot, there is this kind of walkway bridge area between the front part of Epcot and then the back part of Epcot, which is where all the worlds are, where all the different countries are. But on this walkway, there's a big, large section in the middle, and then there are these smaller sections that there's this little planter, and then it's over to this fence. So if these were set up in like real life, the planters are kind of here. There's a walkway. Anyway, so the chalk art's on the side. I was very excited to see it. There was a very rainy forecast predicted, and I was really, really worried going in that the day that we had planned on being at Epcot was the day that had the highest chance of rain. So when we arrived and we got set up, we were probably set up by 1, I decided we were going to go ahead and go over to Epcot. Because there were some things that were like those must-do things for me. One was seeing this chalk walk. The other was this painting wall. And so it was, you know, it's those things that you decide ahead of time when you're planning a trip that you're like, I really want to be able to do that. So I'm glad that we got to check those off our list. So thank you so much for checking out this little planning video. I hope to have a video up a day this month. doing these layouts, we will see how far I get. Because, yeah, we will see how far I get. Oh, there's a little thunder shower that rolled in. Wow. So, thank you so much for hanging out and checking this out. Just this little glimpse into what's coming with Sketchathon. Yeah, I'll also have it over my Instagram account. I'm a little kinder here, there, and on Facebook. So, I do plan on sharing that. If you have not liked or subscribed, I would love to have you as a subscriber. YouTube will let you know if I actually get a video up every day this month, because they'll push it out to you. Liking the video and commenting lets YouTube know that you are liking this content and you want to see more of it. Now, I know this was a really, really quick one and not a lot of point to it other than to kind of bring you into my planning process and tell you a little bit about Sketchathon. So thank you so much for giving me some of your time today. Until we are together in our first video for this series, go make some memories. Bye-bye.